Given the many troubles that the government has had with its various migration policies in recent years, it was not perhaps all that surprising that even today, even as its flagship migrant barge was declared open, there was yet another spanner thrown into the works. Around 20 of the asylum seekers intended to move on to the Bibby Stockholm had their transfers cancelled. Their lawyers cited concerns over the accommodation suitability for disabled people, slavery survivors, and indeed those who've experienced trauma at sea. It means a total of just 15 made it aboard today, a fraction of the 500 men the vessel is intended for. But even once it is finally full, it would take another 100 Bibby Stockholms to rehouse the tens of thousands of asylum seekers currently at hotels across the UK.
15 asylum seekers are now spending their first night on board the Bibby Stockholm, just under half the number the Home Office had tried to move. Those who did come today were bussed through Portland to a welcome from a small group of campaigners on their way to the barge. Although some of the buses only seem to have brought a handful of people on board. The campaigners had prepared welcome packs.
We've got a map of Portland, because obviously they'll be new to the area and it will help them find their way around. We've got notebooks and pens so they can write things down for their English lessons.
But not everyone here thinks this kind of welcome is appropriate.
Take these bags to the community fridge or Portland Food Bank.
People here do support the community fridge.
Take them down there.
Help set up the community fridge.
You're not there.
You're
not there on Wednesdays or Saturdays.
We also want to support the refugees. Why not? Don't you want to support them?
Not over the people of Portland. I don't know.
We're not.
These are not the first migrants to stay on the Bibby Stockholm. It has previously housed migrants in the Netherlands and indeed construction workers in Scotland. But the Mayor of Portland says the 500 people being put on it here is too many.
When it was used as accommodation for workers, it was 220. Now they're talking about more than double that. It beggars belief. Human beings belong in communities. That's where human beings should be treated and taken care of, not on a barge.
But 500 is just a drop in the ocean of 137,000 outstanding asylum decisions. Nearly 60,000 people are awaiting them in temporary accommodation like hotels, and the pressure is all upwards, with 15,000 migrants already having crossed the channel in small boats this year. And this evening, the Home Office said 20 people had refused to come here today. That's more than have actually boarded the barge.
So we successfully onboarded the first cohort today, and there are 15 people on board. We have had a few challenges, but this is part of an ongoing structured process to bring a cohort of up to 500 people on board.
The charity representing those who have challenged their moves to this barge said some were disabled, others traumatised by previous experiences in detention and at sea.
If you've already, as some have, seen friends drown crossing the Mediterranean, have been in danger of drowning themselves, crossing either the Med or coming across from Calais, you can imagine that the danger for re-traumatising is high.
The first residents of the Bibby Stockholm in Portland can expect to stay here for 3 to 9 months. What happens to those of them not then granted asylum is still being fought over in the courts.
And Carl is in Portland tonight. Carl, that barge has been there for 3 weeks, hasn't it? It's finally opened and not many men are on board. How do you feel today went?
Oh, none of this is straightforward, is it, Tom? I mean, the government was already tied up in the courts trying to get its plan to send failed asylum seekers to Rwanda through. Now it also faces potential legal action from current asylum seekers who don't think that they should be staying down there in the darkness on the Bibby Stockholm barge. Now, those legal challenges are in the very early stages. We don't know whether they'll amount to much. The government doesn't at the moment think so. Tonight, a government source said that This just shows what we are up against. Labour-linked charities and lawyers are repeatedly trying to stop us from moving illegal migrants out of expensive hotels. It's time they backed the barge, this source says. So you can see that whether or not the Bibby Stockholm is an effective answer to the migrant accommodation problem, it is certainly a convenient vessel for the political positioning that goes along with it.